Welcome to the Marriott Center. Just days before we ring in 2024. The Wyoming Cowboys and number 14 BYU, two old rivals from years ago, finally reunited. And a couple of senior guards are in the spotlight today. Out of Miami, Florida, Sam Griffin for Wyoming.
At 6'3", he plays on attack. He'll get in the paint and take it to the front of the rim. But that's not all he can do. He's an outstanding three-point shooter. He'll get to the free throw line, 45.9% from three, and he's second in the Mountain West in scoring.
For BYU, senior guard Trevin Nell out of North Salt Lake, Utah.
One of the great catch-and-shoot jump shooters in the country. He knocks down threes at a 42% rate. But if you push up on him, he'll take it in the paint, and he'll hit the little floater. A great scorer, a veteran player, and getting it done for BYU on the outside.
BYU, the number one three-point shooting team in the country. Wyoming not far behind, hits 41%, and these two do a lot of that.
Yeah, both these teams can really shoot the basketball. You see Sam Griffin at 17.8, number 2 in the Mountain West. He also leads his team in assists, so some great guard play on both sides in this game.
BYU and Wyoming together again for the first time since 2010. The Cougars are 11-1. 8-0 at the Marriott Center. Wyoming is 7-5. They are 3-4 outside of Laramie. The Cowboys control the tip. That's Griffin matched up with Spencer Johnson. Down low, a kick to the corner. And nowhere to go for Cott. Now he's into the lane, forced up. Khalifa on the rebound. BYU, the number one assist team in college basketball. Johnson for three. That one comes off the board clean.
And it's such a bad shot that even with rebounding position, nobody could get it as it came off hard off the rim. Mark Pope told us defensively, we saw it in that first defensive set, they've got to run this Wyoming team off the three-point line. They've got to be there on the catch. And then they have to defend without fouling, because when Wyoming takes it at the bucket, they know how to create contact and get to the free throw line. So guard without fouling inside, run them off the three-point line. And then defensively for Wyoming, they've got to take care of this guy and anticipate those passing lanes and don't make it easy on Khalifa.
Khalifa up with the right hand, and the transfer from Charlotte. It's on the board.
Great footwork that time for Khalifa. Kept that pivot foot just nailed to the floor as he worked around the pivot foot.
Now Khalifa picks up his first foul. Trying to defend Caden Powell.
Watch Khalifa, that right foot's a pivot foot. Watch him work around that pivot foot and create some space with that low jump hook. And he's capable of then stepping up the top of the key and knocking down a three. And he's one of the premier big men passers in all of college basketball, leading the nation in assist-to-turnover ratio.
Caden Powell at the line, a sophomore from Waco, Texas. Wyoming, their biggest wins of the season so far. You'd have to look at Charleston and Furman. There haven't been many impressive victories as they've had a soft schedule. Their key losses, number 15 Texas, St. Louis, Weber State, Portland, and last week against UTEP. So they're going old school with UTEP and BYU in back-to-back games.
Just like the old WAC days. And for Powell, he gets 1 of 2, and he's typically a really reliable free throw shooter, experienced physical guy, 70% from the line this season.
Hall into Khalifa. Dish to Waterman. And Waterman took an extra step and turns it over. And for BYU, best start since the 1987-88 season, when they went 17-0 out of the game.
And that year they were ranked number 2 in the country at that time.
And today they're ranked number 2 in the net rankings in the country. Johnson on the steal. Nell baseline, kick to Waterman. And we heard from Linder saying, we got to defend the three.
And he also said, you cannot simulate how fast they get it up the floor.
Khalifa.
And that's what we're talking about. With Khalifa, that's 5 points up. They take it down, they post him up 2 straight times down. And now they just give it to him out of the three-point line, and he makes it.
Waterman pulls down the miss from Walters. Here's Hall for 3. Now BYU is #1 in the country in shooting threes and #1 in making them. Griffin into the lane. Off the glass over Khalifa.
We saw in our highlights to start the game how good Griffin is in the paint. Not afraid of the size in there.
Waterman up for three. Waterman's first bucket. He's shooting just over 41% from the three-point line. BYU by 5.
The tough part about defending BYU is you really can't help off of anyone. All 5 guys on the floor can knock down threes, including the 5.
This is Cott. Gives it back to Powell.
Really nice read by Cott that time. Comes off of that pick and roll, and as Powell rolls to the basket, he draws the defense and bounce passes it where he can finish with ease.
Johnson working his way in. Runs out of room. Up top to Hall. Here's Waterman. Back inside to Khalifa. Gets his own miss, and he's fouled. He'll go to the line and shoot 2. Khalifa's offense has come as he's gotten in better shape. Sidelined in the offseason with that knee injury. You see the brace there. And he started the season on the bench and a bit overweight.
Well, and Mark Pope, as he's gotten more and more minutes in practice, because remember, when he came back, he's very limited. They're running more and more for him and running more of the offense through him, especially with that great passing ability with him high. Each week and each game, as he's in better condition and can play more minutes, they run more stuff for him.
Oleg Koyanets is into the game for Wyoming. 1 of 2 for Khalifa. It's 9-5. Koyanets out of Lithuania. He's got the ball right here. It's Lithuania against Egypt. Basket and the foul as Khalifa picks up his second. And we'll be back. 9-7 BYU.
One at Gonzaga, and BYU fans will know it well. Their signature win this year, beating the Aztecs on this floor in the Marriott Center. Wyoming will see San Diego State later this season as well. But #2 in net, #4 in Ken Pom, 14 in the AP poll, 12 in the coaches poll. It's been otherworldly good for BYU. Now the question is, how can they maintain that once they get into Big 12 play?
Thank you, Spencer. Tiki Aliatiki in the game, and with the rebound, Jackson Robinson is in the game for BYU for the first time since he sprained his ankle back on December 22nd. Arguably the best 6th man in the country. He told us before the game his ankle's completely healed.
Yeah, and he probably could have played last week, but Aaron said a caution. Let him heal up, and he's ready to go today.
Weto, the rebound, the transfer from Utah, senior out of San Antonio. 9-7.
This Wyoming team's been on attack offensively. And, getting into the paint. Haven't had a lot of open 3 looks. This time with a good ball movement, they get one.
Drops it in. This is a team that shoots over 40% from 3, which is actually 4th best in the country. They just don't shoot enough of them. And they get one. The Cowboys lead it by 1. Tiki on the drive. Up with the right hand and right over Koyanets, and it's 11-10. Tiki's really seen his offensive.
Yeah, his skill set offensively is dramatically better this year as well.
Walters on the 3, and Tiki brings it down.
And Walters, just playing in his 3rd game, his debut was against South Dakota in that tournament.
Lob, and a Tiki on the finish. Assist Dallin Hall, 4th straight point for the 6'10 junior out of Tanzania.
And this bench for BYU with Aliatiki, as good as he is on defense and as much as his offense is improved, and then Jackson Robinson's the leading scorer off the bench.
Cobb turns it over. Jackson Robinson over there to deny. And now it's Hall over to Waterman, open for 3. Too strong. Here come the Cowboys. Sam Griffin, over 1,000 points in his career, got most of them at Tulsa. Bojanich leaves it short. Now it's Paul. Waiting for Robinson. Well defended. Over to Waterman. Shot clock's at 10. And it's a Tiki, left hand. Here come the Cowboys.
Bojanich did a nice job that time, just holding his ground, not letting a Tiki back him down, going straight up, making that a tough left-handed shot.
First game in 9 days for Wyoming. First in 8 for BYU. A little rust here in the early moments. 13-10 Cougars. Walters stolen away by Robinson. Johnson for 2.
Wyoming's done a really good job on the defensive glass. BYU is known for getting after the offensive glass. Jeff Linder told us they've got to box out and clean the defensive glass. So far, so good for the Cowboys.
Cowboys call a timeout. 12:25 to go here in the first half. And Tiki Tiki off the bench and hits 4 straight for the Cougars. They'll lead it by 3.
Days, right?
Go back a little further. BYU has won 13 straight in the series. The last time the Cowboys won at the Marriott Center back in 2005.
That's right.
13-10 here at the tail end of 2023.
And Wyoming with a good start. I like how aggressive they've been.
Johnson on the rebound for BYU. Richie Saunders is in the game for the Cougars. So is Trey Stewart. Line drive 3, chased down by Saunders. Stewart up top. 8 minutes gone. Lob for a Tiki. 3 on the shot clock. Up and in. A Tiki with 6.
No panic. 1 second left on the shot clock. He gets it up off the glass. But really good body control, playing on 2 feet with balance for a Tiki Tiki.
Griffin pulls up for 2. Tapped out to Stewart. But real active minutes by a Tiki off the bench. Saunders is fouled by Brendan Wenzel. That's his first. Spencer.
Dave, not surprisingly, Wyoming has scouted BYU very well, specifically Jackson Robinson, who is garnering NBA interest. In fact, there's a scout in the building watching number 2 for BYU today. Jackson a little frustrated with not getting the ball in his early minutes. Coach Pope said, look, you're going to need to finish your cuts, especially because someone's going to shadow you the whole time. But finish your cuts, you should be able to get the ball, guys.
Thank you, Spencer.
And they're not going to leave Jackson Robinson. He comes off the bench. He's immediately the object of the entire defense's attention.
Spencer Johnson hits a 3.
And here's the issue when you're trying to defend BYU. If you give all of your effort on trying to shut down one guy, there's a bunch of other guys out there that can go off for 20 on you, and Spencer Johnson is one of those.
Griffin inside the arc. Still looking for his shot to go down. Here's Saunders quickly to the other end. 2 more. 11-0 BYU run.
And that's what Jeff Linder was talking about when he said to us, you just can't simulate how fast BYU pushes the ball on the floor. You've got to take good shots on offense, because if you get long rebounds, they're out, and in 2 seconds they're down the floor and attacking you on the other end.
Newton for 3. Now Stewart on the run. Saunders calls for the ball. Blocked out of bounds. Good defense by Newton, getting back down the floor. And there's Jeff Linder in his 4th season with the Cowboys. 55 wins. Led Wyoming to the NCAA tournament with an at-large bid in his 2nd season. Picked to finish first with San Diego State last year. Aztecs went on to the championship game. Lost a lot of guys, said, but I got a lot of guys. And now he's back with a mix of 7 and 5.
Well, and he feels like this team's really just coming together because of so many new faces, especially with Mason Walters having just played a couple of games.
Dawson Baker's into the game. And in a matter of seconds, he's got his first bucket.
Everybody can shoot and score on this BYU team. Yeah, we asked Jeff Linder, how good's the Mountain West this year? He goes, oh man, it's a 4 or 5 bid league. He says it's so deep, it's so good this year. He loves this game because he feels like it's great prep. This environment will prepare them for their league play.
Robinson on the steal. Into the corner, Saunders. Now open for 3. First bucket of the game for Nell. This is a team that has passed up a good shot for a better shot. And that's why they're 11-1.
And this is what they do to teams. Teams hang with them. Then all of a sudden they get pushing the basketball. They get you sped up offensively and get in a hurry. You miss shots. And when you miss shots, they push it down the floor and get a bunch of transition threes or early offense.
Foul on Saunders, his first.
This early offense, Jackson Robinson takes it and kicks it to Saunders. The extra pass, which you see so much from this BYU team, and the extra pass means a wide open look at 3 from a guy with his shoulders and hips square to the rim who's going to knock it down.
It's a 16-0 BYU run. The Cowboys have missed their last 6 shots. Walters. Wenzel in the lane. Still can't get anything to go down. Robinson going all the way. It's an 18-0 run. First 2 for Robinson. He's averaging 16.5. Down on the low block. Swatted by Atiki as Walters is denied. Now for another 3. Cott chases down the rebound. His roof was about to come off as that shot gone down.
And for Wyoming, what they've got to do now, they've got to slow down a little bit on the offensive end. And it's a good shot because it gets the rim there. But every time down the floor, they look like they're in a panic a little bit, like they're in a hurry. If you always got to sped up, take your time.
Robinson for 3. Now on the rebound. Cott's basket snapped an 18-0 run. Back-to-back misses by Robinson, and here come the Cowboys. Cott's got it. BYU goes to Laramie next year, and then the Cowboys will come back the following year. Jump ball. And the arrow favors BYU as Waterman and Khalifa return. And Saunders is going to go out, and Atiki will go out. What a
Really good minutes. Really good minutes for Atiki Ali Atiki.
Into the game, Cale Combs for the first time.
8 minutes.
Giannis returns.
8 minutes for Atiki gives him 6 points, goes 3 or 4 from the field, 3 rebounds, and a block. That's a nice 8 minutes.
Yeah. Robinson back to Baker. Baker up for 2. Giannis on the rebound. Caught. Here's Newton. Now Walters banks into Waterman. 7.5 to play here in the first half. Giannis working on Khalifa. And Waterman on the rebound. Baker has it slapped away by Newton, and the Cougars turn it over. Now on the steal. Out ahead to Baker. Dawson with 4, a circus move with the hoop.
I'm going to call that creative. He got the ball so deep on the left side, he had to go to the opposite side of the rim and figure out how to get some English on it and make it.
29-12. It was 10-9 Wyoming, what felt like just a couple minutes ago. And the reach by Nell. And that's the first on Trevor Nell. Timeout, 6:33 to go in the half. BYU's defense triggering the offense. Nell with a steal. Baker, the finish. We're back with more from Provo. from beyond the arc.
Right. Wyoming's very good at shooting threes, very effective. 4th in Division I at 41%. BYU's 45th at 38%. But BYU shoots a much higher volume. Mark Pope goes to the BYU year. They'd like to shoot 35 attempts a game. So 7.6 makes a game for Wyoming at that great rate. 170th. BYU first in Division I, it makes a game for 12.8.
Coming into the game, BYU's outscored Wyoming by 186 points from the three-point line.
Let's see if Wyoming settles in a little bit here. BYU's already had 6 steals. Wyoming seems sped up. 6 steals. Now remember, BYU averages 6.9 steals a game. We got 6 minutes left in the half here, and they've got 6 steals.
Walters on the miss. Dallin Hall back in the game for BYU. He's got the ball right here. Sophomore guard. Lob for Tiki.
You're kind of in between area. Like, do I dunk it? Do I shoot it? And he couldn't decide.
On the drive, Griffin. And a good finish by Sam Griffin. His 4th point.
You see the quickness and the savvy of Griffin. Got that up in the glass quick before the shot blocker could get there.
Koyanich blocks Robinson out of bounds. And the Cougars will keep it. Mark Pope looking on in his 5th season at BYU.
Good help by Koyanich. You see him come from the backside. And that's all ball, not with his hand, all ball with his forearm. That's a big-time block right there.
Koyanich is 7 feet tall. Waterman is 6'11". Hall, this is Waterman, up for 3. Waterman with 6.
And when you got a 6'11" guy that can play inside and is plenty physical, gets after the glass.
Koyanich on the finish.
Koyanich, I've been really impressed with the 7-footers, with his skill with the ball in his hands, his ability to put it on the floor and to attack. Really skilled 7-footer. I was going to say with Waterman, he's a really skilled 6'11" guy. Go out and shoot threes, handle the ball in transition, offensive rebound.
There's one. Tiki on the finish, he's got 8.
That pick and roll has been money for BYU with the Tiki in the game. This is a guy that can almost touch the top of the backboard. So you just throw it up there, he's going to go get it.
Walters with it. This is Griffin. In the corner. Wenzel for 2. Gets his own miss. Goes up and in. Senior out of San Antonio's first 2 of the day.
The NAIA National Player of the Year last year.
Now Robinson. Down away for his 4th.
Pretty difficult. He was on 1 foot on his pivot play, just stayed on it and shot it without really even elevating.
36-18. Griffin on the drive. And a foul is going to send him to the line. Robinson picks up his first.
And this is where Sam Griffin is really good at drawing contact, getting to the line. He understands body positioning. He created that.
We're getting close to the college football playoff semifinals. New Year's Day on ESPN and the ESPN app. Michigan and Alabama in the Rose Bowl, presented by Prudential, followed by Washington and Texas at the All-State Sugar Bowl. The winners will play Monday, January 8th for the national championship. You know, Florida State was undefeated. They go into the Orange Bowl today. Last I checked, Georgia was up 42-3.
Georgia's just whooping them today.
So many opt-outs. It's changed the postseason. But the games on Monday are all legitimate.
Those are big ones. Sam Griffin makes that first free throw. 83.6%. It's one thing to understand how to get to the line. It's another thing to be so proficient that when you get there, it's almost automatic points. And that's Sam Griffin for these Cowboys.
He's got 6 for Wyoming. Hall for 3. And he joins the hit parade now. First bucket of the day for Dallin Hall and the Cougars by 19.
And Dallin Hall shooting just over 41%. Seems like we say that about every one of their guys.
Nice move with the body for Griffin for 2 more. Now with 8.
Griffin number 2 in the Mountain West, scoring at 17.8 points per game.
And the Cougars turn it over. It'll be Wyoming basketball when we come back. 3:43 to go. Here in the first half. 39-22 BYU on
from his guys, and it goes back to what was being discussed earlier in the broadcast with Blaine. That is that the Cowboys are sped up. He just wants his guys to find their spots, to be stronger on those on-ball screens, take care of it, not let BYU get out in transition. We'll see if it pays off during the last 4 minutes, guys.
Thank you, Spencer.
When you get in a hurry, you take bad shots. If bad shots lead to transition, long rebounds in transition, then there's a good shot by Griffin.
Griffin in double figures with 10.
And the other thing is, Wyoming's usually patient enough to drive and get to the free throw line. They average 17 makes a game from a free throw line. Only 5 attempts here this first half, 3 of 5.
Ball over to Johnson. And he's fouled in the lane. And that's Caden Powell, his first. As Noah Waterman returns from Mark Pope's lineup. Tiki Elliott Tiki will go to the bench.
There's one thing that Mark Pope has that I think is the best that he's had in his tenure at BYU is the depth to just come at you in waves, like with no drop off. He literally can go 2 full waves of players and not have any measurable drop off in performance on the floor. That's hard for a team to match up with.
Robinson, 2 more, right over Kai. Big height advantage for Robinson. He's got 6.
Always balanced up as Robinson. You see him 2-foot jump stop, playing off 2 feet, elevating. And when he's squared up and shooting it when he's squared, he doesn't miss very often.
One of the biggest differences in this BYU team from a year ago. So mention they're number 1 in the country in assists to turnovers as Griffin knocks down a 3. Now up to 13 for the Cowboys. So BYU's number 1 in assists to turnovers. Last year, they were ranked 181.
Huge difference. Unselfish play and smarter with the basketball. How about Griffin starting to heat up? Jackson Robinson doing a little heat check, but in Griffin, this is a guy that came into this game with over 1,700 career points and 272 career made threes. So
Powell forces it up. Waterman holds his ground. Cowboys trying to close this gap before the break. Johnson up for 3. Griffin holds onto it and slows things down.
Jeff Leonard, after that rebound, Jeff Leonard put his hand out and said, "That's just like, take your time here. Get a good play down here offensively. Get a good shot."
Foul on Saunders, trying to defend against Walters. That's number 2 on Saunders.
And a very, very clean first half, as physical and the pace that has been played at. That's 16 fouls now on BYU, so still 1 away from the bonus, which is the minute 31. Wyoming only has 3 team fouls in this whole first half.
90 seconds to go here in the half.
Maybe Wyoming needs to be a little more. Maybe they need a few more fouls to defend this BYU offense.
Open look for 3. That one's strong by Wenzel, and foul on the rebound. And it's going to go against Dallin Hall of BYU. That's the first on Hall. And now free throws for Wyoming.
And to Wyoming's credit, and Spencer talked about Jeff Leonard's frustration the last 2 times. He made his point because they've slowed this thing down now, and they're playing more at their pace. They seem more in control. They're not turning the ball over at the same rate. They're getting to the free throw line, and it was on the verge of getting way out of hand there for a minute.
This is where Wyoming has been successful on the year. Almost a quarter of their points from the free throw line. Coming into the game, they've made 212 free throws, which is 35 more than BYU's attempted. So they get to the line,
and they make.
And Powell gets both of them and cuts the lead to 41-29.
Mentioned earlier, at 6'10", as a big guy, Powell has really nice touch from that free throw line, almost 71%.
Ball back to Waterman, wide open, top of the key. Robinson on the rebound. Saunders back to Waterman. Up for another 3. He's going to keep shooting them, and he knocks down another. His 3rd on the day.
He wasn't quite bounced up. He kicked the ball over to down home corner, knowing I'm going to reset my feet. He's going to give it right back to me. I know he'll give it back to me. So he gives it up, gets it back, his feet are set, and he knocks down the 3. Unselfish play, it's smart play.
And a foul on Saunders. Richie undersized up against 6'9". Mason Walters, and that's his third. And Walters is going to go to the free throw line. We mentioned Walters just happened to be back in the game, tore a ligament in his thumb. Wasn't cleared to play until a couple of games ago. 16 last week at UTEP. And we heard Jeff Linder explain one thing he loves about Walters is he can slow the game down.
Yeah, he's a mature player. He's got a really high basketball IQ, knows what's going on. And they needed somebody to step in there and kind of slow things down for the whole rest of the team and have him play under control. And he's NAIA National Player of the Year. Just got cleared from a thumb injury. That's why he hadn't played up to this point. But he averaged 27 points a game last year in NAIA, so he can score.
First two of the game, 44-31. Ball waits for Tiki. That goes to the corner to Robinson. Robinson. Run down by Powell on the rebound. The shot clock's off. Wyoming can settle for the last one of the half.
I think Jeff Linder, they stopped the bleeding. They closed this lead a little bit.
Griffin, blocked by a Tiki. They're going to call it goaltending, I believe. And so the basket will count with 2 seconds to go. That's 15 in the first half.
Yeah, let's take a look. That was pretty close. Oh, yeah. It hit the glass and then he took it. But let's see if it hits the glass first. Yeah, see how it hits the glass? Hits the glass, and then he gets it off of the glass after it hits the glass. Absolutely a goaltender.
Officials have come over to the scorer's table to take a look. One thing you see there is the leaping ability to reach.
He can come from a long ways off again. So once that ball hits the glass, now watch. Does it hit the glass first? There it is. Hits the glass, and as it ricochets off the glass, Atiki gets a piece of that. And he gets that a half a second earlier. It's on its way up to the glass. Is probably fine. He was high enough, but just a half a second late.
They're in the third quarter at the Arizona Bowl. Wyoming with the football, trailing Toledo 10-6. Keep tabs on that as the Cowboys are interested in that. In the postseason. For the last time under head coach Greg Bohl, who will retire after today's game, Jay Saba will succeed him. It'll be Jay's challenge to beat BYU in Laramie on September 14th when the Cougars return to War Memorial Stadium to play some football.
The officials are still taking a look. I wonder if they didn't get as good of a view as we got early on. Did that ball not hit the glass first?
It looked like it hit the glass. And they might be looking also, but is there a little more time than 2 seconds?
And here's the thing, and they can look at frame of it. If he gets a tiny piece of it before it hits the glass, does he get any of it before it hits the glass? Let's see. No, it hit the glass first for sure.
What a half by Sam Griffin. He single-handedly kept Wyoming in this game.
Yeah, definitely off the glass first and then the block. Yeah, you do. He came from a long ways, traveled a long way in the air, and still was up at the top of the box on the backboard on that one. Crazy.
So 2 seconds stays on the clock. Bucket's good. Wyoming is back in this one. Just 11-point deficit.
Yeah, and it felt like midway through that first half, when BYU was on that crazy run, that this game was going to get away. To Jeff Linder's credit, he called a couple of timeouts, settled this team down. They played at their speed and got back in this thing.
Final seconds. Hall from half court. Just short. And Wyoming.